Hi guys, it's Kova Expedition here, and this is one of our new rides, well my ride, but for KX, and it's a 92 Series 80 Land Cruiser, 620,000 kilometers on it. It works like a charm, so we're very excited to be building this out. This will be an amazing project, and follow along as we do all sorts of things to this along the way. So we'll be changing the suspension, all the bushings, and the front axle has an issue. Pinion bearing has worn away so that it rattles as you drive. That'll get fixed here as well. Repair kit for that. I think it'll be very nice after we get everything fixed. It'll be a pleasure to drive. We're taking out the drive shaft, yes. And a few important notes on how the drive shaft is supposed to be put in. So if it's factory, put a mark on both sides of the drive shaft flanges so that they come the same way together at both ends. And also there's a bore and a counter bore so that the drive shaft can slide in and out as the suspension articulates. Now it's very, very important that you put those together the right way as well, so that the knuckles are facing exactly the same way. I took out the drive shaft during the summer because of an issue at the front end and did install it wrong, so don't do that. Live and learn. There we go. So this is what I was talking about. This one is pointing, it's parallel right now, and this one's at a 45-degree angle. Don't do that. So this will go to a guy named Ari, who knows all about differentials. He'll repair the pinion with the pinion repair kit. So a new bearing, pinion bearing, seals, and things of that nature. We have a whole slew of spare parts and repair parts. This is for the pinion. There's the pinion bearings, all sorts of stuff here for the repair of the pinion. Then we have all sorts of this and that, all from Cross 4-wheel drive. They really know their stuff. They picked out everything for this to fix all the parts that are not well right now.
And they're also a big part of the assembly crew here.
Yes, 50%. I'm not counting myself. Matti from Cross 4-wheel drive here, helping out, take apart and assemble it. So. We may just have diagnosed why there was a bit of a shimmy and a shake when you drive this thing. There's quite a lot of play in the joint. So right there's a little piece missing, so that will need to be changed. That's not very healthy. You can like see how it wrenches, and then there's our problem. It's actually this end's a bit healthier. As you can see, it moves on its own in both directions, and there's no extra play in it. The disassembly is pretty much done. Front axle is completely torn apart, or all the internals anyways. We've gone through and opened up panhard bar bolts, control arms, and all sorts, because those are getting replaced, or the bushings in them anyways, and then suspension and stuff like that. We've opened and closed the bolts just to make sure they're open, so when we reassemble, they're not an issue. And now we're looking into the rear diff. The lock itself isn't working. We'll see what it brings up. It needs to get fixed, so we're here, nice warm workshop, we're able to work on it, so we prefer to do it here rather than it breaks down on the road or on a trip or when we're off-roading or overlanding. So take care of your gear, fix it up when you have the chance rather than waiting for it to break on the road, maybe possibly in a really bad place. Here's this amazing piece that's caused a lot of issues. It's gotten a knock from somewhere. It's corroded, as you can see, completely gone. This is an aluminum casing, which means when it's mixed with steel, it'll start to corrode. And this was all full of sand. Also, the rear diff was full of, well, chocolate milkshake, which is never a good thing. Water has mixed in with the oil. And so we're pulling the rear diff out as well to see what the issue is and to fix the hole that this leaves in the casing. Axles are coming out so we can get this. It's day 2 of KX Builds, the Land Cruiser. Today we'll be taking care of the rear control arms, changing the bushings to those, rear shocks, putting the rear together pretty much completely. We will have to wait to work on the front a bit. The front diff is still being worked on, so progress is happening. So we're changing the bushings on here, and an important thing here is the caster angle, and we need to adhere to these measurements. So 185 mil from center to center so that the axle's in the right position. The old ones, as you can see, the actual hole is right in the center of the bushing. Now by offsetting these to the edge on this front side and towards the bottom on the back, we'll correct the caster. We put this strut in first, and there are the cambered bushings in here. And we needed to figure out a way how to get the same onto the other side. So what we did was took this off, put the bushings onto the nuts, or onto the bolts here, marked them, and then pressed them in, and it was A-OK. So we put in grease for the bearings, put the diff back in, we put the axles back in, and now we're tightening up the screws for the axle. The rear will be ready to go after that. Now that this has been open from all sides, both the diff has been out and the axles and everything's been in the open air in the dust, I've been advised that it's good to throw in the oil, drive for a little bit, a few hundred kilometers maybe. It'll get the grease or the diff oils moving in there, and then flush out the old and put in new diff oil. That way you'll eliminate most of the grime, dirt, sand, and metal particles and things like that that may be in there. I took out the old panhard bar and now we're putting in a brand new ARB Old Man Emu. That's the business end right there. It's adjustable, which is very important when you're doing a suspension lift on a vehicle, is having adjustable hardware so that you can even things out. The rear end is completely buttoned up, everything is in place. New springs, panhard bar, shocks, drivetrain, everything. Awesome. And the front is very, very close as well. The differential is in, all of the running gear is in. Now on Saturday we'll have steering components to put in, springs, and panhard bar and wheels, a few small bits and bobs, but very, very close. Look at that pretty new suspension in there. New spring, very nice. These guys have been up earlier than us, putting this together. We're on the home stretch. All the drivetrain is in, new springs are going in, and it means tires. Then the track rods and panhard bar, and then we can drive out of here. And Bussy happens to have a set of 33s over there that we may be able to sort of shove in there to see what it'll look like ultimately once we get 33s on it. Very, 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 very cool. It's done. It is all done. We have everything in place. Brand new shocks all over. New suspension, springs, bushings. Front diff has been rebuilt. Pinion repair kit. What else? That's just about it. The whole drivetrain has been gone through, starting from the transfer case. I'm at a loss for words because I'm so happy. All the way to the wheels. Now the only thing left is start driving. Very, very excited. Thanks for tuning in on this KX Builds. We have to mention our new shirts. We have some cool gear. at store.kovaexpedition.com. Remember to check out Cross 4-Wheel Drive. The guys there, Matti and Risto, they're top-notch guys. They have the coolest gear and they have the best contacts. An absolutely massive thank you to Bussy as well, that we could come here and ransack his whole garage. This was awesome. He's got the coolest place as well. I guess there's nothing left to say, but thank you for tuning in and follow the next stages of this awesome cars build. More to come. Thanks.